But if you do have questions, just shout them out as we go along, and once I open it up. Now, before we start, I would like to give a few special shout outs to some amazing people that have really made a big impact on me. The first one is to my amazing parents. If it hadn't been for their constant support and incredible amount of patience in teaching me to be proud of who I am, I wouldn't be standing here in front of you all today. The next person I would like to shout out is to my cheerleader, my role model, and my prayer intercessor, my Nana Joyce Estep. If it wasn't for these three strong, incredible individuals, I would not be doing the things I'm doing, and I would not be here where I am today. So today I'll be telling my story, and my parents were not even allowed, I'm sorry. They were not supposed to be able to have kids at all. And they talked about it, they prayed, my Nana prayed, and a few months later I was born at 25 weeks premature. I was born blind, and my original due date was November 11th, and I was born on August 7th, 2005, because I was so impatient and ready to come out and face the world. Before I was born, my mom and I both barely survived, and one person who will remain nameless, because I know they did not like to be the center of attention, but if it was not for them, I would not be here today. Literally, I would not have survived. This person came, she prayed extremely hard, the hardest she's ever prayed in her life, and she was deep in prayer. And it stopped people in their tracks. Doctors and nurses stopped outside the room and just listened. It was because of those prayers that I am here today. When I was born, I was only 1 pound, a little bit less than a pound. I was only 11 inches long, and my dad's wedding ring went all the way up to my shoulder. And the first Halloween, I could not fit in a traditional costume, so we adapted, and I wore a Build-A-Bear costume. When I was first born, I was immediately rushed into another room and put on a ventilator for assistance with breathing. For the first 2 or 3 weeks, I think it was, I was viewed only through the bar of an isolette. My parents did not get to hold me until about 2 or 3 weeks after I was born. At 2 weeks, I developed sepsis, and again, barely survived. But it was due to those prayers, and the prayer chain started, and many, many people coming together and lifting me up in prayer, that I am here today to tell my story. I was in the NICU for 5.5 months, where I had several surgeries, a few on my eyes, to attempt to correct my vision, and I was connected to a lot of different machinery, and I even had one surgery to close a PA valve in my heart. Before I was even a year old, I was flown up to Michigan for eye surgery, and finally on January 13th, 2006, I finally was blessed to come home out of the NICU. I was hooked up to lots of equipment still. I was on a continuous oxygen supply. I was on a feeding tube. My mom had to leave work to become my primary caregiver, which I know was a fun and constant job because I was curious. I was a curious 6-month-old and liked to pull out my tubes and make every alarm beep. So that was fun. It kept people on their toes. There were many nurses and doctors and therapists over at our house daily. I was in the early intervention program. I was in physical therapy, speech therapy, and occupational therapy. And through lots of hard work and patience, because I was stubborn. I'm still stubborn. By I think I was able to eat my mouth and I was off of the oxygen. I started preschool at 3, and by 2011, the time came for me to start kindergarten, and the plan was all along for me to go and start in my home district. We had several meetings, and it was made clear that services will be limited. I would only get 30 minutes of Braille instruction a week. So we made the decision to enroll me in the School for the Blind. The first school I attended was about an hour and a half away, about an hour and a half drive one way. So it was a 3-hour round trip, 5 days a week. And then I attended another School for the Blind, but that was a lot closer to our house. Those schools really helped with Braille, and for the longest time I was happy at those schools. I learned Braille, I learned how to do things as a blind individual. I learned cane skills, so orientation and mobility, so how to navigate familiar and unfamiliar environments using my cane and through touch, and just using hearing and primary senses other than sight.
Yeah, she said, don't print too many pictures.
My 10th grade year was a little bit different. At the end of my freshman year, I decided that it occurred to me that I needed more. I was outgrowing the School for the Blind, and it's great in elementary years and even middle school years, but then when you get into high school, I kind of was at the point where I'm like, okay, I need to be challenged more, especially because I'm planning on going to college, so I need to be challenged. I needed to be around sighted peers, and I needed friends. And so I made the tough decision my 10th grade year to start shared placement, so I would do part-time at my local high school. And I was terrified, but again, I trusted God and trusted His plan. I prayed very hard about it. There were multiple times where I asked God, am I making the right decision? And I prayed for Him to lead me to the right decision and put the people in my life that will bring out the best in me and see my potential. So I then started part-time my sophomore year, and it was like a whole other world. There were challenges, there were many bumps along the road, but it was well worth it. I made so many new friends, and it was like my world had expanded greatly from where it was even a year prior. And by my junior year, so a year later, I was full-time at the public school and no longer at the School for the Blind. And so I learned a whole new way of advocating for my needs and helping other people feel comfortable, because I was their first blind student ever. In I think it was in November of 2022, I started developing more medical stuff in addition to blindness, and I also was diagnosed some years later with cerebral palsy. But in 2022, I randomly started losing my speech. I lost the ability to speak for quite long periods of time, and the first time I just thought it would be a one-time thing, but we were terrified. We did not know what was happening. I opened my mouth and silence. It was terrifying. We prayed hard, and I was able to regain my speech took about 3 days, and then it kept happening to the point where every day at school I would be unable to speak, relying on technology as my voice. We've seen several doctors around this time. I was diagnosed with so many different things, dystonia, dyskinesia, a couple people told me it was just in my head. Anxiety was at an all-time high, which made this worse. By March, it had started to resemble seizure activity. And by the middle of my junior year, it had progressed to where I was basically in a wheelchair and spent all my school days in a wheelchair and unable to speak. And I felt like my body was not even my own anymore. I felt like a puppet that was being controlled by someone else. And it was hard. Around this time, I questioned my placement and whether I should be at my public school or whether I should go back to the school for the blind. I prayed and I asked God, is this the right fit? Where should I be? What is even my purpose? Finally, and I knew, in 2021 I started a YouTube channel because I knew I wanted to speak and tell my story. And me being nonverbal so much, I soon, after thought and reflection, I realized that it was not only anxiety and not only this new diagnosis that we would soon find, but it was the enemy trying to silence me. God knew that one of my purposes would be to speak and educate others. And the enemy was attempting to silence me and steal my voice, but I kept fighting, kept praying, and I made a promise to God, to myself, to everyone, that I would not let that happen. In May of 2024, so the very end of my junior year, again, I like to keep people on their toes. I was taken from school to the hospital in an ambulance because my seizures would not stop. Spent 48 hours seizing and convulsing, unable to speak, unable to walk, and was then diagnosed with psychogenic non-epileptic seizures, or PNES. These seizures were all anxiety-induced, and no meds could cure them, and so we researched, and we did find someone that specializes in PNES, and it was a long 2 years. It was still questioning my purpose, and questioning if I even deserved to attend my public school. And I really just had to trust, believe, and I relaxed and let God guide me through this journey. And it was a lot of hard work. It was not easy. But now I'm standing here and I can proudly say I am 2 months seizure-free. And my plan is to attend college in about a week or so. And before, I thought that I wasn't even going to get to graduate. My brain still plays tricks on me. It still tries to say, you're not ready for this. But I know better. I know God has a plan. And if I just keep the faith and allow Him to guide me, that plan will be pursued. When it's a lot of times, there's so many people that it would be easier just to give up and quit, but you are a lot happier when you adapt and when you focus on the positive and focus on prayer, focus on God, focus on the loved ones around you. And that's what we did since day one, since before I even was born, since before I can remember. We adapted and we got through it as a family, and the bigger the challenge, the closer we are together as a family unit when we come out the other side of it. And that is one of the many reasons I am blessed. I'm so grateful to be blind. And I'm content and happy with it. And I've had so many people over the years come up to me and ask if they could pray for healing and pray for my blindness to go away and pray for me to see. And while I definitely, some extra prayer is always good. You can never have too much prayer in your life. But the thing is, God made me the way that I should be, that He wanted me to be. And God does not make mistakes. And part of my purpose involves not having sight. Part of my purpose involves adapting. And I am grateful to be blind because I have appreciation for small things that a lot of people don't even notice. For instance, I love the sound of church bells. Sometimes it can be hard, but we adapt. We have braille on things. I have a cane. I have my device here that I'm reading and taking notes on. My life can be challenging. It can be hard, but it is never sad. I might not be able to see with my eyes, but I see with my heart. I see in so many different ways, just not with my eyes. At this point, I would like to close by quoting a Bible verse from Matthew 18:20. It says, "For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them." And that sums up my life story, because even when I was a baby, even when I was too young to even remember, I had people that prayed for me and people that helped keep me alive. And now I'm able to pray, and I'm able to do that for myself along with everyone else that does. And all of the prayer chains, all of the people that are together here with me and lifting me up in prayer every day is why I'm here. It's why I can do what I'm doing now. There have been times where I have not prayed as much as I should because I think, oh, I'm not good at it. But here's the thing. You don't have to be perfect, and God does not mind how good you are at praying or how, He just wants you to talk to Him. And God loves you for who you are, not how perfect you are. And because of God, and because of prayer, and because of family, I am here today. I am standing. I have overcome intense anxiety, intense seizures, and I'm standing tall here today, and I'm able to speak to everyone. At this time, I would like to open it up to questions, so if anyone has a question, just shout it out and know there are no such things as stupid questions.
What degree are you pursuing?
I'm going into communication sciences and disorders,
Cool.
especially because the experience I had speaking through technology and relying on it as heavy as I did, I want to do that for other young children and help them find their voice through technology.
Thank you.
Are you still gonna keep speaking engagements all you can?
I'm sorry?
Will you keep giving your testimony at churches?
I hope to, definitely.
Yes.
So Macy, with your eye surgeries, none of them helped at all?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I can see a little bit, like I can see if the light is on or off, and I can see shadows, but just no color.
Okay.
And my retinas are detached, so I'm not supposed to be able to see anything at all.
I see pictures of you doing gymnastics, you're pretty good at it.
I used to be when I was younger, and then I got old. But, I have gotten pretty good at doing wheelies in my wheelchair because it freaks people out.
Macy, where are you going to school?
I'm going to school at, Brescia University in Owensboro, Kentucky, so it's about 2 hours away from where we live outside of Louisville.
Will you
Yeah.
live on campus?
I will, yes.
No, you will not live off campus. She said, will you live off campus? No.
No, on campus.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I will live on campus. I have a roommate, and we went down the other day to, practice walking the campus to my classes, and once I get it down with my cane and everything, it's like muscle memory.
Mm. Do you, like, when you do, walk, do you count steps or anything like that?
Not usually.
Okay.
Typically, it's about finding what, landmarks. So
Okay.
I know that if I am walking down the stairs and I see this, I know that in order to get over to the seats, I have to go put this on my right and then go straight.
Okay.
And there's different cane techniques I use also, and this folds up for easy storage, and then,
Nice.
and then the string just goes over. And then when I'm ready to stand up and walk, it unfolds. And then there's different cane techniques. So there's one where you're just walking and you just sweep from side to side,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's one where you just do like this and just push it in front of you to protect your whole body. There's different tips you can get on the cane.
Oh, okay.
So there's one that's like a ball that rolls, and then there's one that's almost shaped like a marshmallow, and then there's one like this.
Oh, okay.
And that, depending on what tip you have, it provides different degrees of tactile feedback as you're walking. So it gives different information based on the echo and different information depending on the environment you're in.
What do you do for fun?
Tease my dad, no. I write a lot. I'm actually currently writing a book from the past 2 years. It's going to be called Breaking Through Silence. And I journal, I read a lot of books. Before I did horseback riding, and it helped with my cerebral palsy a lot. I play piano. I make different communication books for individuals who are nonverbal, and they have braille on them, so they're adapted.
Are you still doing your YouTube channel?
I am, yeah, and that's, I picked that back up, and before I was just kind of sporadic, kind of here and there, and then once I had the battle with, or the challenge with my seizures and anxiety and everything, I immediately knew that's what I want to be on my channel, is spread more awareness.
What's the name of your YouTube channel?
Blind Woman 101.
I love your sense of humor.
So what do you tell people, Macy, when they look at you that you are handicapped or disabled? What do you tell them?
You know, I might have, my eyes might not work, I might not see like you guys can, but there's a whole lot more things I can do than things I can't do. And blindness, and any disability for that matter, it's only a disability and it's only a label if you choose for it to be a label.
Now, is your roommate going to help you with everything as far as your living, or?
No, she's just there, we're just roommates, and I'm, just like anyone else going to college, and I've just adapted, and I have Braille on the microwave and everything, and I know where all of my stuff is. So yeah, I've basically gotten all my routines down, and I've adapted, and this is basically, you know, being blind is all I've known, and so it's come so natural because I have never experienced what it is like to have sight.
I think that's probably an advantage.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Macy, I know that everybody hasn't seen what's on the podium, but what is in front of you?
So this is it's called the Braille Sense, and there's a line of refreshable Braille, and there's also a screen up here, so you can turn the screen on and you can see what and I can type on it, I can take notes, I do schoolwork, I can download books, I can send emails, and if I scroll up, you'll see the Braille moving. And this is how I read. I always joke and say I can read in the dark.
So, Macy, tell them what Braille is.
Braille is a 6-dot code, and it's made of 6 small dots that are arranged in different patterns and grids that make up letters and numbers, and it's how blind people view the world through writing and reading.
Was it difficult to learn?
I think well, because it was so natural and that's what I've always known, it was basically, and I started learning at 3, so it was basically like any other child learning print, except mine was learning Braille.
How fast can you angry text on that thing?
Fast.
Pretty much as fast as someone that can text on the phone.
She's texting you now,
So if I type, my name is Macy. That's what I look like when I type.
No.
Do you mind if I add a few things to your speech?
I don't mind.
You gotta do it anyway, right? Some of these slides, of course, I can get emotional about every one of them because to me she's really a miracle, and she's been such a blessing to my life. And I don't know what my life would be like if I didn't have her. But what she does, it's amazing to me. She hears what we don't hear, and she will see sometimes things we don't see because of how sensitive she is to things and how she's always had an amazing vocabulary. I mean, ever since she was wee little. I mean, she knew words that I didn't know until I was 50. So, she just grabbed it, and she's pretty fearless. I've seen her ride on a camel. One year we got her a 3-wheel bike for her birthday. I bought her a trampoline. She just does not have the fear. I'm sitting back, because I'm still, Nana, but it's that fear will hit, but she doesn't have fear. And what she says about herself, just because I can't see, doesn't mean I'm disabled.
Right.
Amen.
You know, we as sighted people take so much for granted. And that's one thing she is saying, and being nice about, much nicer than what I'll be, is that, and we don't have an appreciation of what we can see. There's so much beauty in the world, and I know any of us can have a bad hair day. Any of us can focus on things that's negative. But it's what she is saying, and that's what's got her through. She really does focus on, for the most part, what is good and what she is blessed with. You know, she goes this next week, Friday, leaves for college, gonna be away from home, first time in her life. And she's going in total darkness. You understand what I'm saying? And there are people there that she can ask for help, but she'll not have anybody assigned to her to help her. So she has to, she goes down and she walks the route to her classes, and she will walk to those classes by herself when she gets there. She will pick out her own clothes, she will dress herself, she will fix her own hair, I don't know how to do with that. But, you know, but when she used the word adapt, that's what you do. Sometimes, and that will bring freedom, if she had never adapted or accepted that she cannot see, she would limit her ability to be happy.
My world would be so much smaller.
Yes, yes. So I believe that she is called to be an inspirational speaker,
Amen.
to talk and to tell people you can be happy even if some things are missing out of your life. So, I mean, I really appreciate that you all came. I really appreciate you giving her the opportunity. I appreciate you having the courage to do this. And, because it does take courage, even though she can't see any of you.
I was gonna say, it's because I can't see you all there.
You know, when she was in the NICU, you know, and all through her mother's pregnancy, I really have never prayed so hard as I did when Carol was carrying her. And before she was born, me being who I am, I say, how bad you want a baby? I need to hear you say it. That's what I said to Carol. I want one really bad. I said, so be it. And the fight was on. The enemy tried to take her out before she ever drew her first breath. Time and time again, Carol would call me crying, and you know, when she was in the NICU, I walked in and death was so strong you couldn't breathe. And I just backed right out and called everybody I knew, down south, up north, wherever, had everybody praying because death was trying to take her. And, you know, she went through, a nurse broke a bone in her arm, put an IV in. I mean, just amazing that she's here. And she talked about that prayer, you know, when I just come home from Florida, flew into Akron, and I get a call, they're going to do emergency C-section. I said, I'll be right there. I didn't know out loud. So I'm in the hospital room praying, kind of like I think like Moses did, and reminded God, because the word says, remind him. I said to him, I said, you said that she would have a baby and she will live. Because even at birth, it was a miracle that she lived. And that she doesn't have severe cerebral palsy. It's a miracle. I mean, she's a miracle. And, you know, I don't think she has really, I mean, she has anxiety. She developed that when she went to public high school. But she went from how many students at the blind
Oh
school?
my gosh, 70 students. in
70
total.
students to
K through 12.
2,500. First blind child to ever go to that high school.
Wow.
And the teachers were terrified. They had never taught a child that couldn't see. So, anyway, she'll do just fine. You take her down Friday, Carol, to the
Mhm.
school?
Yep.
Yeah. And she's gotten scholarships and just, it's
My whole
amazing.
first year is covered.
That's awesome.
And it was determined, because we had like 2 or 3 news stations when I was first born interview us, and it was determined by both that, because that's how it looked at that point, that I would need 24/7 around the clock here for the rest of my life. And now, here I am.
Yeah, here you are. There's something I would like, if I was working working, I get it. But there's a cane, and I'm not asking for help, I just think it's unique that the cane's got like a computer in it that tells her what's around you and what's in front of you.
On like an AI cane or
Yeah,
whatever?
yes. And I just would love for her, you know, I mean, if the Lord let me go to work. But anyway, the technology, and you have to be on the waiting list, I don't even think it's available yet. But my point for that is, it's just like this piece of machinery out here. It helps her communicate, it helps her accomplish things, and, you know, so that there are things, and it's much better than what it used to be. So,
There's a lot more resources now.
yes, well said. Any other questions?
Macy, can you feel when a seizure is coming on?
I can, and that's what really helped me get to where I am today, being seizure-free for 2 months, is I know it's the signs, and I really had to learn to be kind of in tune with my body and how it feels, because I'm like, okay, now I feel tingly, I'm sweaty, I need to breathe, I need to stop overthinking.
Do you have like a medical alert necklace or bracelet, or in case you are in a seizure and people don't know what's happening?
I don't, but we have talked about it, and I would like to get one.
Yeah.
I am planning on making some communication cards, a couple sets, like one set that tells my basic information, then another set that I can use myself when I'm in the seizure to let people know
Yeah.
what I need, and then I do have a seizure plan also.
Oh, good.
Any other questions?
I always say my favorite dance is the jerk.
We can tell you just have an influence.
Anything else you wanna add?
I would not be where I am today without my parents and my nana.
You're a blessing, girl. You truly are. She made me fight. I mean, you know, there's really power in prayer and unity and having that agreement. And I really believe that she would not be here if I didn't have that. You know, people pray, you want people praying that believe. You want people that believe, you know, and you'll see results, but, you know.
Well, how scared were your mom whenever I had her sharpen knives in front of you?
My son, the great hunter, taught her how to sharpen a knife.
That was the best day of my life. I just hope I didn't have a spasm or anything, because I don't know where that was.
Well, you know, one thing when she was little and she was trying, what was she, 2 or, I don't know, 3?
2 or 3.
And when she was on the porch and I'm watching her, you know, and she says, Nana, she's trying to get on the rocking horse, and then she says, Nana, I'm having difficulties. I was probably 50 before I used that word. So, I mean, she's always had such a vocabulary and able to express herself. And, I mean, really, she speaks, I think, excellent. And she's determined. How many children do you need? You know, like, they went on vacation, where did we go to, St. Louis? And we went to, they invited me and I went with them. She was, I'll take one guess who she took. Anyway, so we went for the sole purpose of her hearing the chimes from this beautiful church. And we went that day twice to hear them. The second time we went, they added a bonus. I've got her on tape. If it doesn't make you cry, you're dead. I mean, the excitement and her expression said it all, because she wasn't expecting that second chiming, you know, so that's a prime example of it, of appreciating something that we take for granted. We drive down the street, we don't even pay attention to chimes, you know, and, you know, but that's something that that's why we went. She didn't want to go. Of course, we did drag her mother on a Ferris wheel. And I
Oh
thought
my
she just wanted
gosh.
to have another stroke. But, you
First
know,
and
Macy
last
wasn't scared at all,
time.
but she didn't know how up she was.
I didn't realize my mom would be that scared. I didn't even
No.
see it coming.
And it was all glass.
Yeah.
So, but it was great, it was great, so, you know, she sees a lot by touch. It's amazing what she can see by touching something, and, I don't know how many years ago, Carol, when we went to the Creation Museum,
Yeah.
She rode a
It was a
camel
while
there,
ago.
but, they opened it up early just for her to go through, which was wonderful. And she was able to, without the big crowd, and she was able to go through and see everything by touch at the Creation Museum.
Wow.
And
They will also do that at the Ark too.
yeah, they'll do it at the Ark as
Yeah.
well.
Oh,
So,
that's great.
which is wonderful, you know. She doesn't, I don't believe, expect special accommodations. But it's nice when people, you know, recognize the white cane, which is a universal sign of blindness. And, so it's good. Of course, I've been where I like to whack a few people because they don't recognize the cane, move out of the way, have some respect or whatever. People can be rude, and not that I am a rude person, but I am very protective of people I care about.
I mean,
So-
sometimes, there's been times where, and this is terrible, there's been times where I've wanted to whack them and just be like, sorry, I didn't see you there.
You need to stop.
She has a future in comedy, if nothing else.
Yes, that's wonderful. So, any other questions? She's definitely a part of my family, definitely.
We can help.
Yeah, we can tell.
You know, she's as much mine as if she was blood. There's no blood, but she's mine.
Fortunate to be in that. You're fortunate to be in that thing.
I'm fortunate to have her. I'm very
That's
fortunate.
right.
So, any other questions? I believe she's gonna do great things. I do, I really do. I don't think she's gonna be limited. I'm praying that God opens doors, you know, as she moves through college, and it is scary. It's scary for a sighted person. You know, she's going to new territory, and, but she'll do fine. And she knows how to ask for help, and it's okay. And it is a small college, which is good. It's not known to be a party college, so, you know, that's good.
That's good.
And it's actually Catholic, so, run by Catholic nuns. So, you know, and then what, 800, about 800 people on campus. They have a bigger online, but actually on there, it's not that many, so. All right. Are we done?
Again, thank you all so much. I have been honored to speak, and I truly appreciate so many people coming out to support me.